Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. I thought maybe we spend an hour together and then we'll go about doing something else. So, who do we have here? We have two people. Both of them are cricket lover. Two people watching, but only one person having written a comment. Cricket So, what happened? We lost connection somehow, but looks like we're back. So, we have Tai Hung, Tai Hyung, female 16 USA. Thank you for that. And holy shit is here. Holy shit. Holy shit is here. Yeah. Uh, Stream froze. I guess the internet connection went down for a few minutes. And Tai Hyung says, my parents know I'm watching you. Okay, good. Thank you for that. Tai Hyung says, yeah, okay, good. All right. So getting back to Cricket Lover. Cricket Lover says, 21 male India says, as I told you, I have lost I've lost my psychological and physical attraction towards girls. In past, I'm always developed thoughts about dating a girl, marrying her, develop family. All right. Says, but everywhere my brain suggests me homosexual thinking, and I'm not even scared by these thoughts. Why should you be scared? These are thoughts. Once your inner awareness knows that there is a separation between what is being suggested by the brain and what your preference is, then you know what it is that you are and how you prefer, what your choice is, and you won't be scared of anything. So, being scared or creating anxiety with intrusive thoughts is not an evidence that it has to be there before you know that these are intrusive thoughts. And if you're not afraid or you're not anxious about it, you're not frightened by it, it means that you agree with the brain's thoughts. No, there's no such thing at all. Let me turn this light on because I think we're lacking a little bit of a light. There we go. So, you have created certain kind of a rule for yourself that unless I'm scared of something, then that means I'm in agreement with that thing. Where did that come from? What kind of logic is that? Hmm? There are lots of things in the world that is not your choice, but when it's suggested to you, you just refuse and you move on. You don't have to be angry about it or frightened by it. You obviously may have, at the beginning, have a certain kind of a reaction, harsher reaction. But when it continues, and you know it continues, but you're not agreeing with it, it doesn't make you real concern because you know you're managing it and you're in control of it. So this business of I'm not afraid of it is no evidence of anything. Some of you keep focusing on it. And he says, my brain is suggests me homosexual thinking, and I'm not even scared by these thoughts. Facing huge problem of groinal response. Well, I have a video on groinal response. Every time that you create anxiety in yourself, you could have groinal response to, I don't know, a wooden horse. But that doesn't mean you want to make love to the wooden horse or you have sex with it. These are things that you got to educate yourself in regards to movement and the activity or overactivity of amygdala, which is responsible for that fight and flight and freeze reaction since millions of years ago, creates that fear or protective measures that you should be taking in order to save yourself or protect your values, protect yourself, what's sacred to you. And all of that can translate in certain kind of a reaction. And sometimes, often, as the video explains, if you just type in the search engine of my channel, groinal response, then there is an article written by a sex expert writer and a therapist, which is a very good article that I have used that for that video. And you can watch it and understand, educate yourself. Don't simply believe the brain or the reactions that the body makes after the brain creates certain kind of a thought that is not in line with your values and you are oblivious to it. Brain is very powerful and can make the body react to things, but that reaction should not be used as an evidence that the thought is correct. That's not supporting the thought. It's just reacting to the brain's power that what body does, because it doesn't have any intellect and brain doesn't have any intellect. So the body simply follows the signals that come from the brain. And when the brain malfunctions, it produces false signals anyhow, and the body reacts to the false signal. But it doesn't mean that you, who is separate from brain, your awareness, the intellect, which is you, and that's separate from the brain, are in agreement with what the brain is doing. You just have to understand that's a glitch, that's a malfunction, the signaling system of the brain. And you got to educate yourself and learn how to rewire your brain, and through neuroplasticity, which is the way you react and treat these intrusive thoughts as they show up, how you interact with them, or rather how you actually don't interact with them. But understanding what they are, it helps you to rewire the brain, and brain learns to get its balance as it was for you and it's designed for you, as it's always been. We malfunction in different parts of our body, physical or mental, but it's very easy for you to understand the physical malfunctions. We get diarrhea, we get cold, we get this and that, we get pain in the elbow, this and you're fine with it. You understand that, you take steps to remedy it. But when something happens to our brain and we go through intrusive thoughts and OCD and all other kind of a malfunction in the signaling system or the function of the brain, you somehow are bamboozled thinking, oh, that must be me. How could you do not consider the activity of your liver to be you, or your kidney to represent you, to be you? But when the brain, which is just another organ of yours, a collective organs that you use in order to have you use these organs to facilitate your experience in this journey of life, how come when it happens with the brain, you think, oh, it's me? Others are organs of you, kidney, intestine, liver, heart, but the brain is you. However, this brain that you think it's you, or you're bamboozled to think it's you, you didn't have this brain 40,000 years ago. Then where were you then? If you didn't have this brain 40,000 years ago, which we know for millions of years, human being lived without this brain that we have as today. It was a reptilian brain was a reptilian brain and a stem brain. So we lived like animals, everything instinctive. We ran, we hunt, we slept, we had sex, and everything was clear. No intrusive thoughts. Why? Because we had no ability to think or speak with the brain that we had. 40,000 years ago, the brain had developed in a certain way that it started being the way it is today, which gave us the ability to think and speak. And the thinking thoughts are the roots of our problems. Because now, through thoughts and analyzing meanings of the words and signals and symbols and so on, you interpret as thought making apparatus organ, the brain, is actually you. But if it's you, then where were you when this brain wasn't part of you? You didn't exist a million years ago. You existed millions of years, and then you were given this apparatus. Now, suddenly you think this apparatus, this updated brain, is you. Then that means you didn't exist until this brain showed up, which is not true. You had existence. So, understanding that this brain was added to you as a new apparatus organ, then you understand when it suggests something or conjures up things that is not in line with your value, it's just gone bonkers. And you got to help it to regain what you're all about. Your awareness that what is being suggested by this organ is not in line with your values, and it's not describes you, represents you as you choose and as you are and has always been, simply creates that contradiction, and that contradiction awares you, brings it. Awareness is only when there's a contradiction. If you have become aware of this, what the brain says is not what I want, is not what I am, is not what I've always been, is not, it's that contradiction you become aware because this contradiction exists. And if you're aware of this contradiction, that means there is a contradiction. Means that you are the awareness, and what brain is suggesting is irrelevant to you. The awareness is, the intellect is you. Brain doesn't have an intellect. If you look at the video that I've made in regards to the video that Dr. Egnar made in regards to experiences that Dr. Speary, Penfield, Owen, and Dr. Leibet did in neuroscience, you will see that it is explained that you're not the brain and brain is not you, by simply having educated yourself by the experiences that the neurosurgeons, such as the ones that I named, brought about the understanding that there is no intellect center to be localized in the brain. In other words, they can stimulate the brain, like Dr. Penfield in his thousands of surgeries on the brain. He stimulated part of the brain, like occipital part in the back. A certain kind of a light or sight was resembled itself, so the patient would say, oh, I can see something, or there's a light, because they stimulated that part of the brain. There was a light or sight localizable point in the brain. And some other part they could stimulate, and the movement of a hand or a limb was created. Or another part of the brain that would stimulate, and some kind of a sound or speech would be stimulated. But they could never localize intellectual center, political center, compassion center, consciousness center. They could never localize math center. So that means the intellect doesn't have a center in the brain, is not part of the brain. Brain is not intellect, is just a machine that guesses things. And you somehow have been duped to think that this organ that was added to you 40,000 years ago is actually you. That's pretty fucked up. So that's why it's important for you to educate yourself and start learning how to become the mechanic of your own machine, rather than all constantly bamboozled by, oh, my brain suggested this. But who the fuck is the brain? Your brain is like your intestine. It has a job. Intestine gets the food, turns into energy, and shits the rest out. Brain also gets all these information that seeps through the brain when it's in existence in the world and becomes known about it, and uses that to make thoughts, 80, 90,000 thoughts a day. But none of them is relevant to you. You don't even know what the brain does. You use the brain as an apparatus to do certain things, to create, design, learn, accomplish certain tasks, and advance your life. It's a tool for you. Brain itself also uses its own tool to create thoughts, but those thoughts are not yours, your responsibility, or your doing. It does it on its own, 80, 90,000 thoughts a day, and then it's up to you to, if any of them comes to your attention, and if they're useful, use them. They're not useful, you let them fall by the wayside and die, and that's it. But instead, you're thinking that the brain, oh, it suggested me that I am a monkey, or therefore I must be a monkey. It suggested me that I can't see, so I can't. What the hell is wrong with you? Treat the brain as another organ, then you will be fine in understanding when it's gone rogue, when it's gone sick, when it's got a glitch, what is OCD, what is HOCD, and the rest of it, and help it to heal. You're responsible to help it to heal, not to think what it says is you. All right. I hope that helps you out, Cricket. And Pirlo says, hola, our wonderful friend Marin. Hello there. Raymond says, Happy New Year, Marin. Happy New Year to you, too. It's been 6 days. And Raymond says, New York 33 mail. I started the new year, January 2nd, by contacting custom art. What is that? Contacting custom RT. What is custom RT? Custom RT service because the gift card I received for the holiday did not work. I am oblivious to what you're saying, Raymond. Raymond says, question here for you, sir. Since I started the new year like that, I've been having continuous issues that require me to contact other customer service too. I feel like I cursed the new year. Come on. What kind of nonsense is that? Curse the new year? What do you mean? One day is good, one day is bad. It's got nothing to do with what you had to do at the first or second day of the year. What do you think? There's something sitting there, and intellect says, oh, this is the new year. Now, whatever thou do in this day, it will set the tone for the rest of the... There's no such shit like that. So don't fall into that nonsense. What are you talking about? Feel so anxious. What can I do to stop regretting going to customer service for complaints in the beginning of the year, which may have caused series of batches of bad service? Like, no, that's bullshit. The only thing you got to do is just shit on what you just said, and don't worry about it. If you need to call customer service, call them 100 times. They're all bad service anyhow. So it's not about anything. It just sometimes happens that you got to deal with things. You can't just become superstitious about everything that you do just because this happened, that happened, and I shouldn't have done this, so it wouldn't be, connected to that and linked to that and create a chain. These are all OCD thinking, negative thinking, bullshit thinking. None of them are true. Throw them all out. Go do whatever you have to do in order to fix whatever needs to be fixed. And if they don't comply, call them again and call them again 100 times. So I should have considered my interaction with some telephone company that I needed to do some things, and it took 2 weeks, and in one session 3 hours of arguing with them, 3 hours of different departments. Like, they changed me to 6, 7, 8 departments. I had to tell the whole goddamn story again, and all of them were full of shit. So what should I do? So, oh wow, I shouldn't have called it, because you gotta go through your life as you gotta go through life. Don't come up with all this nonsense for yourself. Holy shit says I'm 32, male from Germany. Ah, guten Tag. Wie geht's heute? Says I was in 10-year relationship with a bipolar, what is it? Bipolar disorder girl. I think that's what you mean. BPD girl who betrayed me multiple times. What do you mean betrayed? What do you mean betrayed? She did something contrary to a balanced behavior or the kind of an agreement that you guys had, a relationship that you had. It's on her. It shows her quality. What do you mean betray? As you're a victim. You're not a victim. She's done something that is not in line with the values that was supposed to be prevalent in the relationship. So why do you feel like she's the boss? No, she fucked up. That what she did is a reflection on her, not on you. So why are you so pissed off? In fact, it tells you that she is not worth being with you. It says, I betrayed him multiple times. Jesus. I took her always back. Why? That's why she'd keep doing it. Because she knows that you take her back. So obviously she's unreliable, disrespectful, quality that you shouldn't have anything to do with if that is not in line with your values, which I feel it is not. So it says, but she left me again before Christmas, not the first time. Oh, because you're being a pussy. You're tolerating every shit that she does. She says, okay, he's a bathroom. I want to shit. I go sit on his head. Once you just close the door and say, don't come here. You've done what you've done. Have a nice day. Adios. But if you're pussy whipped and you don't have enough respect for yourself, you keep taking the same quality that you do not like in a woman, you take that woman back. So what kind of a signal are you giving her? If you are in a relationship and you go on the side, find another woman that you sleep with, and your girlfriend finds out and she takes you back, and then you go and find another girl and you sleep with, and your girlfriend finds out and she deals with it, gets upset or whatever, and then she takes you back, and you do the same again, what kind of a message is she giving you? Or what do you think that is safe for you to do? I'll go find another girl, I sleep with her, and she's going to be okay with it. I'm just going to do something and she'll be okay with it. That's the message you get. So you will continue doing what supposedly she could have stopped at the first round that you did that and say, goodbye. I don't want to have anything to do with you. But if she keeps taking you back, you think she's hung up on you. So you can do whatever you want and she'll still be there for you to shit on her head. That's what this one is doing for you, because of your behavior and the way you reacted to her behavior that was not in line with the proper value of being in a really committed relationship. So you expect the one who is actually having no responsibility to change her ways when there is no repercussion. And the repercussion doesn't have to be uncivilized, just be the fact that, hey, I don't want to be in a relationship with you. Thank you very much. There's a door. Adios. But you didn't do that, did you? So, and he says, I know it's the best for me and her, but our apartments are really close. And though I'm in no contact strict since then, it's terrible hard. Yeah, you wrote me that and I did respond to you. And my response was this: if you can afford it, buy her apartment and buy her another one somewhere else, or she can go buy herself somewhere else with the money that you give her. If she's not okay with that, and you don't have any control on that apartment, it's not yours anymore, it's hers. Therefore, you simply sell yours, which is across the street, and with that money, go buy another one, different part of town, or just a couple of streets away. So you don't keep seeing if another guy comes in and she sleeps with, and you keep going back at it and checking and trying to see what's happening, what's not happening, because obviously you can see your partner. So separate physically, just as you want to do mentally, also be in it, unless there's a uh, involvement of children. There are children involved that you guys are supposed to keep switching, the time you spend with them, and you got to drop them off and then take them back, depending. That would be good if you guys are close by. And in that case, you just have to get over the fact that, okay, it was what it was, but why do I have to be sensitive about her? She can go do whatever the fuck she wants to do, and I'll do whatever the hell I want to do. That's the end of it. That's why it didn't work out. So, these are the options that you have that I can think of it right now. Spare the moment. That's pretty much what I wrote for you. Um, Holy Shit says 2 years ago, nearly the same thing happened before Christmas, and I did the mistake to walk around her house and saw her with the new guy. It was like trauma. Yeah, that's exactly what you're going to end up doing, because somehow it's a little bit different for us guys to quickly forget about the relationship that we had with someone, and it becomes a little problem when still fresh in our mind and it's visible, and seeing that the girl that you were with and was telling you all these things and nice things and whatever, and we're sucker for some nice smile and some soft behavior. So we would always think of her, this very person, now in the past tense. In other words, we only bring about the good events and good experiences that we had with them. And then we think that person that was doing those sweet things is the same person as doing these shitty things right now. That's not the same. You got to see her for the eye of the now, not the eye of the past. So you got to see her for who she is, and therefore result that I don't need to know what she's doing. She's not part of my life anymore. I don't have any kind of a sentimental value for her. What I have is the sentimental value for the memory of who she used to be, not who she is now. Because this girl is not the same girl that I used to be. That's a different entity. So on that note, then you can maybe handle it. But my suggestion would be just change your apartment situation and done with it. All right. No, cricket lover. You don't always get anxiety because the brain is malfunctioning, because it's not part of the whole natural reaction. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. So don't start looking for those. Don't create all these rules for yourself. Educate yourself, and then you know what you're talking about. Otherwise, only thinking about what your limited knowledge is about OCD and HOCD, so on, then you get bamboozled even further. I've put the links of specialists, psychotherapists, and psychologists such as Dr. Jan Weiner, Dr. Philipson, Dr. Schwartz, Dr. Owens. Learn and study their links and lectures and videos. And then I've got hundreds of videos that I've produced, which are all based on research and so on. So educate yourself rather than keep guessing and trying to force things through, and understand how to. It's like a dog or a horse. The brain is. You got to train it. When it loses its training and doesn't goes on a glitch that is not functioning as it's designed and programmed, in your case, for your gender to behave and function, then you got to help it to regain what its original program is. Otherwise, it'll be functioning. You always malfunction. You always think, oh, uh, I gotta, I gotta figure out. No, you're not changing. The brain is malfunctioning. So therefore, you gotta help it so the malfunction stops. Otherwise, you'll be always in a vortex of, oh, what is it? What am I supposed to do? I know I'm not this, but the brain says, who the fuck is the brain? You gotta clear that out for yourself. Brain is simply a organ. That's all. Hmm. Yeah, Tai Tai Hyung. This is the negative thinking. This is the malfunctioning thinking. This is the OCD thinking. From one end, you say these thoughts are intrusive thoughts, and you understand that these are not your thoughts, and you don't have agreement with these thoughts. You don't agree, these are not in line with your value. But then the same brain that you have accepted and understood that is malfunctioning is suggesting things that are not in line with your value. Obviously, it's malfunctioning then, but you accept its logic and analyzation of what's happening to be correct. If the brain is fucked up and it's talking contrary to what your choices and vetoes are, then how could its logic and its defense or its suggestions in relation to the concept could be of value? Because that's also coming from the malfunctioning brain. So it is on the glitch of OCD. So the OCD is doing the analyzation for you. OCD is doing the defense of why you should be what I'm suggesting to you. It's not you who's doing that. All these thoughts that you talk to me right now says this thought gave me a little anxious because it says, what if I don't want to be gay or bi because of my family, or what people would think if I become gay all of a sudden? This is exactly the type of discussion and analytical or logic that is being used by the OCD brain. But you think the intrusive thoughts is the OCD brain, but the defense of it and encouragement and support and the analytical expressions of it is you. It's the same OCD brain that is doing all that. So you're supposed to rely on your vetoes and choices, and you're supposed to rely on your awareness and not on the logic that the OCD brain is constantly using to convince you. Even in light of questions that comes up, is the OCD brain that is trying to promote it by creating those thoughts in your head. It's not your thoughts. You understand the trick here? So you're being full double. One is the suggesting, and then you say, no, I'm not. I'm not interested, not my values. You know who you are because of your awareness, your inner inclination, you know it. But then it comes back with justification and excuses and reasons that could actually convince you of what it says, while you've already expressed that, no, that is not natural for me. So you can't be taking the second part as yours, but the first part as OCD. All OCD. It's all OCD brain. Yeah, these are the way that negative thought latches on, because it could seem logical for you to be convinced that this is why. Hmm? All right. It's trying to legitimize its suggestion, and therefore, these sort of intrusive thoughts, which themselves are intrusive thoughts, these reasonings and evidences and arguments are all OCD thoughts themselves, but they come in the package of logic of it coming from me. No, it's coming from the OCD brain. Hmm? So don't be fooled. Um, your awareness guides you, not the brain's thought. You don't need the brain thought to tell you what you are, what you've always been, what you want to be, what you prefer to be. Your awareness always has that which is suitable for you, and you know that. Protect that. That's not part of the brain. BG says, hello from Adelaide, Australia. Ooh, Australia. Great videos. Thank you. Delighted they enjoy them. And Travis Little says, male 40, New York, USA. So I still come back to this channel every once in a while. Helped me so much. Well, delighted that you're enjoying the channel, and thank you for the kind words. Raymond says, thanks, Marin. I just have trouble with negative OCD thinking. Oh, who doesn't? Join the club. Mazakaral says, Marin, you are my superhero. Okay, right on. I should try to have the nice cape and, the, the thingy. What is it? What's the word? A goggle or something? All right. Holy shit says, yes, you're absolutely right. I know I am. That's why I get the big bucks. You see, I've got millions of subscribers. What the hell is happening with you guys? Did you guys not listen to me? I asked, help out the channel. Go promote it. God damn it. Make it known. We are not visible. And today I just typed in the word breakup on YouTube. I was number 31. 31 other people were there before my show, and many of them had less view for that video that was ahead of me. But when it got to mine was, I don't know, 31,000 or whatever it was. But why is it that I am, if it's by views, then I should be before them. If it's by tags, then why is it that their number of views is less than mine? Many were more, of course, but we are not visible somehow. So I need your help to promote the channel and make it become visible. Raymond says, you're so wise. Oh, thank you for the kind words. That's why I put the hat on, so the wisdom doesn't spill out. I keep it all in. And Holy Shit says she has no self-respect then. Yeah, that's right. Says, how can I build my back and self-esteem? Build your back, go to the gym, do back workout. Self-esteem in right way, and then offer this. Then after this, thank you very much, sir, for your kind words. You're quite welcome. You just understand that the world is not all about one girl or one relationship. I don't care if it was with you 10 years or 20 years. Didn't work out. It's not meeting your standards, your expectations. So many amazing women out there. It's your opportunity to meet someone amazing, new. For 10 years, you've been with this bullshit, and every time she's done all these weird things that is not part of a committed relationship, why do you still think that she's worth anything to even check on her, who she's with or not? Who gives a fuck? Go get yourself somebody, but get rid of that neighborhood thingy. Go somewhere else. Sell your apartment, go somewhere else. Or, if you still own that other apartment, sell that apartment, give her the money, go buy something else somewhere else. You don't have to constantly live close by each other after a relationship is severed. Done. The whole world's ass didn't tear apart, only she fell out. Okay, without her, I can't do it. Oh, she's fucking some other people. What the fuck do you want with her? Don't you have respect for yourself? There's nothing wrong with you. So everything has not been done. Obviously, she has no excuse. She cannot blame it on you. Don't fall for that nonsense. Mazakaral says 34 male Australia. Thank you for that. Says yesterday while I was working, a thought of her started to appear in my head. Okay. I immediately told myself no, and it destroyed the thought internally. Okay. But if it's an ex and you thought of her and there's some nice things that came to your mind, okay, so yeah, obviously I would like it because that episode at that point in time, she was a nice girl for me. She was attending to me. She was sweet to me. We were having a good relationship. So the memory of it, it just represents and vectors that particular time and space of who and how she was and our relationship was. But that is not an evidence that she's still the same girl or as nice or I should love her or pay attention to her as I did and as she was then. This is somebody new. I got to see her for who she is, and this person is not. It's no different than I'm not being facetious. I'm not going to be. I'm not being disrespectful to women or anything. It's just an experience. It's just an example that I can come up with, which I can understand because I love horses and I have trained many horses and I understand how it works. It's like you have a horse, and the horse is in good mood and good training and everything works perfectly and becomes champion or does lots of beautiful jump over obstacles in a competition and you win prizes. But then the horse, something goes wrong with it and cannot perform and is not interested to do all those things anymore. You cannot now sign her up or sign this horse up for other competitions of that great echelon anymore because this horse is no longer endowed with the talent that it used to experience. It's changed. You see that. You say, "Oh, that was a great horse. Don't look at it now." But it's not that same talent and abilities in it now. It's changed now. You see that clearly. That because of the activities and the way it was performing and behaving. And this horse is the same horse, but no longer. So you can understand it. There is a change here, and it's not the same horse. So you can't sign it up for the same type of echelon of competitions and tournament stuff like that, right? But why can't you see the changes in people? You're not going to ride that horse that is no longer jumping as high or as efficient to a competition that is designed for a horse that this one used to be. You're not. You're very aware of it, and you're not putting your trust in that horse. But why is it that a person in a relationship, you know she has changed, she's not behaving the way she does, and you're not with her anymore, and if you see a memory of that, a good moment, you should just take that memory, but still not forget that that was then, this is not. So you think of her, say, okay, that was nice, but I'm aware that right now I'm broken up with her and she's not the same girl. So it doesn't matter if I remember an episode in the past of my relationship with this girl. What matters is that was fine and enjoyable, and I love to think about it. But I also recognize and update the file that what I'm in, possibly in front of or in touch or aware of, is not the same girl. So you quickly separate it rather than allowing that picture of that memory overexpose itself to the character that this person actually has today and fool you to think that I'm missing her. You're not going to miss her. You're missing that, and that doesn't exist. This one is a different girl. Okay. So you don't have to necessarily stop the thought because you can't stop a thought. The no doesn't matter. You enjoy the memory, but then be aware of what it is now. It's not what it used to be. Yeah, you do. You can think about something else, but you don't have to escape from a thought. You just have to recognize it and then let it be. Go on about your business. Understand that thoughts of all kinds are allowed to exist, but you don't have to continuously spend time with them. You can recognize it and say, okay, that's nice, and then go on. But don't allow that thought represent what is not cool today. Hmm. Linda is here, says Michigan here. God bless. Thank you very much, Linda. Forgot the age, Linda. And Meiko says, hi, all. Why do people recommend books like Claire Weeks, Albert Ellis? I came across OCD UK recovery. They said recovering OCD is when you can't tell the difference between OCD thoughts and our thoughts. It's a crock of shit. That is when you don't have any thoughts other than what you want in there. That's not realistic. Everybody, every 8 billion people in the world have intrusive thoughts. And just the way that you learn. See, everybody has intrusive thought, but in a non-OCD brain, when intrusive thought shows up, you realize it's, oh, it's a nasty thought. And then caudate nucleus in the striatum area, basal ganglia area, just shuts down that intrusive thought based on its knowledge about your values, and that is not in line with your values. And then you go about your business. But OCD brain is when the caudate nucleus is not functioning, is malfunctioning in the signaling system. So when it's supposed to shut down the intrusive thought, as it is designed to automatically do that, it doesn't. So when the prefrontal cortex sends an idea that is not in line with your value, caudate nucleus is not automatically shutting it down because it's malfunctioning. So the thought hovers. And when it hovers, it doesn't dissipate as it's supposed to be dissipating according to if caudate nucleus is functioning properly. When it doesn't dissipate, so you think, oh, it must mean something because it didn't go away. No, it doesn't mean anything. It just means there's a malfunction that is not working properly to get the intrusive thought away. So you got to help it to rewire itself to work. So limit your readings to some experts in the field so you don't get bamboozled, because everybody wants to say that they're experts when they're not. Holy shit says, and last thing I want to say, I really like your comparison with natrium and kalium. It's not the kalium, it's natrium and chlorine, because NaCl is salt, right? And becoming salt, yeah. Not kalium, chloride. All right. Because so this thought really helped me to switch my point of view. Oh, good. That was a remade of the one that I made in 2013, I believe, was it? Or when it was. That original video has got like 370 some odd thousand view. And I thought I'd just make a little bit of a change to promote the channel. So I just remade it by just cutting a piece here and there out. And Taeyong says, I got that thought because I saw a girl talking about it, and my HOCD latches onto what she says. Yeah, of course, because you got triggers happening. So just allow thoughts to be there. Any kind of thoughts, doesn't matter. Any kind of image, any kind of thoughts, allow them to be there. They can be there. You don't have to dissipate, destroy them. That's all right. And yeah, I think I did answer the questions, Taeyong. Zad Kill is here. My goodness, where have you been? 28 male Sweden. It has been 4 years since my breakup. I have changed my life around by couple dancing and working out. Good for you. But I have not met anyone new that is attracting. Okay, you will. I feel demotivated and lonely. Tips? Yeah, don't be, because what you're talking about is irrelevant. The fact is not what you're thinking. The fact is that so many of these opportunities are available. There's so many girls out there. I think you mentioned you're living somewhere that is very limited in numbers in Sweden. It's like a village or a small area. So obviously you're not meeting so many people, but that doesn't mean that there are no people that you can't like. It just means in that area at this point. So somehow maybe you got to, I don't know, think it through how you can find more inventory. Tai Jung says, what do you think of all the therapists who say we should accept uncertainty with HOCD or OCD in general? Well, basically, what they're trying to say, at least what I say, is that you should stop looking for conclusion in order. It's not like you say, I accept uncertainty, or I stop looking for answer because I'm okay not knowing what I am. No, you know what you are. But if you want to stop these thinking, there are ways to do it. One way is that I no longer am interested to have a conclusion. Because look, the way I explain this, and the therapist could have their point of view, and by all means, the fact that you accept that uncertainty is the way to go in life because nothing in life is certain anyhow. So expecting everything have a conclusion, and I have to come to a conclusion before I can go on, that's going to hinder your ability to actually swim. It's like saying, before I can save myself from drowning in the ocean, I got to know which direction I should swim. Who gives a shit? Just swim, because if you don't swim, you go sink. So swim, and don't care that I'm certain that I'm going to get to the shore that way or that way. I have to be, first they got to come and tell me which way is the shore. I don't know. And I don't care. All I know, if I don't swim right now, I'll sink. So I accept that any direction could take me to my destination, because I'm not waiting for knowing where it leads to before I start swimming. Kind of like that. It's not the best example, but it's kind of like that. But the better example for me is this: the reason that you want to accept the uncertainty is in order to let the brain understand you're not looking for anything, so it can shut down its processing. It can shut down its activity. What is this red? So I'm going to explain to you guys. Whatever. It's, I don't know. It's red. Why is it red? I don't know. What the hell? Oh, I know. This is why. So I'm going to switch it and make it right. There we go. There we go. I got it. All right. So the idea is to give a signal to the brain to stop processing. It's not about me accepting this way or that way or anything. If you're looking for something, the brain constantly processes, continuous processing. Let me explain. If someone asks you, what is your name? You quickly would say, Tai Hyung, if that's your name. There's no thinking involved. If we're trying to discuss what is thinking, and then I will explain to you how it can stop. And this is where I rationalize, I think this is why it's important to be okay with uncertainty. The reason for it, for me, is a message that it gives to the brain. So when somebody asks you, what's your name? You say, Tai Hyung. No thinking involved, instinct. And they say, where you coming from? Where was it that you were coming from? I don't know, somewhere that you were coming from. That's all. And every time you put a question, where you come from is there. Anyhow. Where is it? Okay, include where you got all those three little things in every question. So when they ask you where you come from, you say, I don't know, USA. Or you say Japan. There's no thinking involved. Quickly, instinctively, you know what it is. What's your name? Mehran. Where you come from? Vancouver. No thinking involved. But if someone asks you from where you are, which again, I don't know where you are, to Japan, you have an aircraft of 2 engines, and you've got 32 passengers. The aircraft's top speed is this. This is the load it's carrying. And these are the horsepower of the engines. And that's the kind of fuel that it has. How long does it take you to go to Japan? Then that question involves certain figuring out. So you go into calculation. From the time the question is asked with its parameters to the time that the brain is calculating, multiplying, dividing, figuring out the formulas and fuel and how much weight, and calculate all these things to figure out how much of this distance and how long and so on, therefore, how long it takes to get to Japan. That time to figure out, that processing time, is called thinking. When you get to the answer, from here to Japan, 6 hours to Hawaii, and whatever, let's say, 15 hours, whatever the number is. Once you do the calculation and you come up with an answer, thinking stops. Because the brain had a mandate to do something. And when it did something and came to a conclusion, thinking stopped. And most of us want a conclusion, certainty, conclusion, in order to stop anxiety, stop fear, stop thinking, stop everything. So when you do the calculation, you come to an answer, thinking stops. Is there any other way that we can have thinking stopping? Yes. There's also a way when you try to calculate and you spend a few minute time on it and you say, I can't do it. So you say, I don't know. When you say, I don't know, again, brain hears it, understands as a mandate, order, it's logical. I don't know. Stops. Thinking stops. Is there any other way that you can stop thinking? Yes. That's when you don't even commence calculating or figuring out process. When the question is asked, you say, whether you go through it or don't, you just don't want to. Says, I don't know, because I don't want to know. I don't know, and I don't want to know. Brain doesn't enter into calculation mode because it got the order that I don't care. So there is no mandate for the brain to go for answer, certainty, conclusion, anything, because it was told, I don't care. I don't know, or I don't want to know. I don't care to know. So this is the idea when, say, live with uncertainty, pretty much is the signal you give to the brain that I don't care what it is. Not that I don't know who I am or don't know what I prefer. It's that I actually don't care if you know. Because you're trying to make me confused, and I really don't care, because all I go with by my vetoes and choices. All I go is by my awareness and what I know that I want. But I don't care to know certainty, reasons for it, evidences for it. I don't need any of that because I don't care to know. I'm living the way I've been living or the way I like to live. But I don't need a certificate for it to show me, for this reason, you are this. I don't need that. So, in other words, you're taking the mandate from the brain by accepting to live in uncertainty that I don't need you to do anything. So, you kind of dismantling the function of the brain by saying, I give you no mandate. You know? I don't care. So, on that note, you certainly are perfectly in the right to think that uncertainty is a way to be. It's a way to make everything do idle, not to search for anything. So you're stopping search of the brain when you say, "Yeah, I don't know, I don't care. It's all good." So uncertainty, that's the message it gives to the brain. That's the way I think. All right. You see, like when you wash your hands 100 times, because you are in the OCD brain convinced that your hands are dirty. In fact, they're not, but you are convinced that it's dirty. So the brain is acting on your signal, on your belief. When you say, actually, no, I don't know, then it's not sure that it should wash his hands. So it's a beginning of not washing her hand, at least not as many times, maybe once or twice, which is normal. But you don't have a mandate that I know it's dirty, I must wash it. So I have to have a conclusion that I washed it 10 times. So yeah, uncertain is fine. I don't think it's dirty. I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I'll wash it 1 time or 2 times. That's good enough. That's the way I interpret, but you can ask your psychologist. Raymond says, following up on other guys' question about breakup, as I listen to them, if those good women in the old days are not the same nice woman anymore, hence we should not miss them. Why does it hurt my feelings when I see my toxic ex girlfriend transform back to the woman I fell in love with again with other men? How do you know? You're guessing. It doesn't matter how she is with other men. towards you, she's not the girl she used to be. And that's all it matters. Remember this famous thing, that famous because I've been saying it, that if this wheel doesn't turn for me, I don't care if it turns at all. So it doesn't matter that this beautiful, delicious dish is made. If it's not made for me, I don't care how delicious or how beautifully it is presented. It's not for me. I care about if it's for me. So if she's going to be nice to somebody else for whatever reason, that doesn't mean that it is nice to you. So if she's not nice to you, that means she's not the same as she used to be to you when she was then back then. That means she doesn't qualify for you to miss her or pay any attention to her. Simple. Hmm? And the fact that you miss her, you don't miss her, because you can't be missing the one that is not paying attention to you. You miss her then. And you got to clearly bring to your attention that what you're missing is not this, is that what it used to be. And you're guessing if she's going to be the same as nice as she used to be with you, with somebody else. That's all bullshit. That's you can't be constantly thinking and excusing her or describing her behavior when there is no evidence of it that she behaves what you think she does with the other people with you, and you don't even know how she behaves with them, or it doesn't matter at all. What's important is that she's not offering that what you used to think of her to you right now, and that's enough to disqualify her. And what you really is missing a girl expert when you see her is because you used to get sex from her and it used to be part of your life, and the order that you had created in your life was partly done by her interaction and her contribution to that routine of life that you had created. Now that the routine is broken, as I mentioned before, mind finds security in the routine of life. Now that the routine is broken and you cannot create it back, because part of the creator of the routine, the things you used to do during the day, was you and her. Now that she's not there, that routine is broken. When the routine is broken, the mind is not finding security as it used to, because mind finds security in the order of life, not in the physical safety of an area or your apartment. So what it does, the mind, in order to find that security, goes into the memory. Goes into the memory because the order of life, how it used to be, the routine of your day, is recorded in the memory. So it goes in the memory and finds the routine and feels safe. And while it's feeling safe and good and cozy, finds her in the memory as well, because she was part of that routine, that order. That's when you miss her, because when you see her in the memory, the prerequisite for the desire to be born is also recorded and in existence in the memory. Once you see her, the prerequisites that have already been created, the recording is like button is pushed and it becomes reactivated. And since all the prerequisites have already been taken, the steps have been taken, the desire is born again. And you think you're missing her. You're actually having the trigger of design in the memory. When you're in the memory to feel secure, that button is pushed, prerequisite of the desire is taken, and desire is born, and you miss her. Otherwise, you're going into memory because the order is broken. So what you should do, create new mechanical processes and new things that you like to do during the day, create new routine, create new order, so the mind finds security in the new order of life that you have created, no longer needs to go to the memory to see her and the prerequisites of the desire to be created, and then the desire is born again and you're fucked up. All right, I'm going to take a break and be back in a second. In the meantime, you can enjoy with maybe this. How about it? Sorry, I guess the microphone was off. I have MBP414 says, "Hey, Miran, how do I get rid of intrusive images?" Well, I have a video that actually, if you go on my search engine of my channel and you put in you put in uh just one moment, please. All right. Okay. Now, if you just go on the search engine of my channel and search for image, and there are a bunch of videos come to you. One says how to stop and get the intrusive thoughts. And images disappear. So that is the link I put for you, and perhaps that will help you out. Okay. All right. I hope that will be what you're looking for. There's the link for it. Raymond says, "Thank you. May I remember your spaghetti analogy from your. Oh, good for you. Good for you, Raymond. Always spaghetti analogy is correct." Ah, Raymond had another one. Says, "Feeling when I see him." Okay, okay. With a chameleon, did I make her change to bad woman? No, 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 no. You can't change her to bad woman. Jesus, you want to take responsibility for the shit that she does? That's great. She doesn't like spaghetti. That doesn't mean spaghetti is bad or untasty. Millions of people like it. Whether she likes it or not, spaghetti is spaghetti. The same thing. You're spaghetti. If she doesn't like it, it's on her. What does it have to do with spaghetti? Hmm? Her choices doesn't make people uh, quality of things change. She doesn't like that. I don't know. She doesn't like orange, and orange is bad. She doesn't like apple. The apple is, or she likes apple. Apple is good. She likes. It's on her, not on you. Lily says it's been 4 years since my relationship of 8 years ended, and I still miss him. I don't know how to get over it. You haven't done anything to move forward. That's the problem. I've got Olga here. It says VUMNGO. I don't know what these little things mean. Actually, can anybody help me? What do they mean? Uh, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Bora Ahoba. Okay. And then we have You got to move on and replace that. So that's not the only thing that would be a default when you think of any relationship. Only memory in you is right now that previous memory. You don't have anything else. There's no inventory. So only every time that you miss relationship or you feel you want intimacy, that would be the default memory, and you think you're missing that guy. No, if it was all good, you wouldn't end. Obviously, there was reasons for it. Whatever the reason was, is has made it not qualified to be for you to be in it or for the guy to be with you. So whatever the reason was, it's irrelevant. The fact is that you haven't replaced it, so there's nothing else here to default into when you feel like the need to be intimate somehow. So somehow you have made an image of him in your brain that you know um, he's the best for you. Why? Biswasit, Biswas, Biswajit, Biswas says myself to buy. I'm 27 years old from India. I have HOCD disorder. Okay. Biswajit Biswas says, how can I cure? I've got many videos on the subject, HOCD. Just on my channel, search engine on my channel, put in HOCD, and you'll have all kinds of videos coming. And then you can watch them, and also have the links of experts in psychology and psychotherapy, Dr. Phillipson, Dr. Jan Rayner, Dr. Schwartz, and you can study their videos and educate yourself. And I've got hundreds of videos on the topic. There's two playlists. One is called intrusive thoughts, transient thoughts, OCD, HOCD, negative thoughts. It mostly interprets the thoughts. But then there is another one which is very essential in learning about your brain and how it functions and malfunctions to help you get out of OCD and HOCD glitch and understand it and manage it and help your mind, your brain, not mine, help your brain to rewire itself through the way you react to these thoughts. And that's called intrusive OCD, HOCD short videos. And none of them are short, but it talks about the separation of the brain, thoughts, and you. You are separate from the brain. Brain is not you, you're not the brain. And for that understanding, there's a very good video that I have created for you all. For you all, takes on today. And that video, which is a little bit long but is very informative, in order to make you understand that what brain suggests has got nothing to do with you. It's an independent system. It's not you. What brain says or suggests is not the same as you say or suggest. Understanding this separation will help you to see that what brain is talking about or images or suggestions, it's irrelevant to you and not in line with your values, and you're oblivious to it, and it's not you. It's just the brain making thoughts, not you making thoughts. And that's the link that I put in there to help you understand. The topic of discussion is about dualism and materialism, that since 1,000 years ago Aristotle was talking about, that there is aspects of mind and you that the brain cannot reach. In other words, there's some power beyond the brain that makes us function, and the brain is not you, and you're not the brain. Separation. There's something beyond brain. And the materialists were talking about atoms and void, that there's either atom or nothing. Then now modern science, through neurosurgery and neuroscience, have proven that there are aspects of the mind and you that the brain cannot even reach. So the brain is not you, you're not the brain. So don't be bamboozled by what the brain suggests. Understand it and help it to retrain and regain its proper function as it was designed for you. All right. Mazakaral says there's spam comments, Miran. Oh, I get two or three of them every time that we have a live stream lately. And Libra named Val. Oh, Val is here. Says, hi, Miran. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too, dear. Thank you for spending some time with us. Val, remind me about your age and where you're tuning in from. Was it Texas? Was it? Not sure. Okay, guys. I want you guys give me about maybe a few minutes break. I gotta call my mom. She's in care center, and I every day I call before it's too late. So I'm gonna put something for you to just enjoy as a scenery, and that's basically it. Um, and I'll be right back. Thank you. Okay. And I'm back. All right, where were we? Okay. Val says yes, Texas, female, 35. Yes. Says I haven't been able to catch your live stream lately because I'm back to work now. I used to catch your live stream every Saturday. Oh, you work on Saturdays, but I have lots of live streams now. It's not limited to Saturday anymore because pretty much, you know, um, when time is available and I don't have appointments, I like to, offer discussions to people around the world who are interested and perhaps have some questions that they might want to ask and they somehow may not be able to offer or afford discussions on Skype with me. So I try to make it available as much as possible. And so you can catch us whenever, if you guys have subscribed and clicked on the bell and have chosen the option all or always, then when I go live, it probably, hopefully, it does give you some kind of a notion that I'm live. And Val says, "How's your mom?" Mom was fine. Mom having a little bit of a memory issue, and so she sometimes um, forgets. She says, I said, "Mom, I said that." Yes, she says, "Yeah, but I forget, honey. Just repeat it." I said, "Yes, Mom." So, and so she has some memory issue, and she's there. And thank you for asking, Val. Appreciate it. And Tae Hyung says, "How actually do we feel actually attached to someone? How actually do we feel attracted? Oh, attracted to someone." Let me read that again. How actually do we feel? Oh, I think it's double actually feel, huh? So let me take one out. How actually do we feel attracted to someone? I don't know. I mean, to each his own. I mean, because I have crushes and feelings for boys, but not girls because I don't feel anything towards girls. I don't think I have false attraction. Taeyong, you're a girl, right? Because this is why it's important for me every time you guys talk. Let me know those three little things like gender, age, where you're tuning in from, because I don't remember. But I think you're a girl, right? So I don't understand what you really mean if you are a girl and you feel you are attracted to boys and you had crushes on boys. So great. So what's the question? You're just getting assurance here. Says I don't have feelings toward girls, so I don't think I have false attraction. Okay, then I don't understand really. Um, unless I know the gender, I can't make a comment really. Well, however it is that you feel, and you know that if it's OCD or HOCD, depending on your awareness about what it is that you've always been and interested and what your values and inclination is. So just don't deviate from it just because the brain says something. You got to understand that the brain is an organ and also malfunctions. So when it's malfunctioning, it's no different than any other organs or limbs malfunction. You got to help it to come back to its natural state as it always did function for you. All right. Yesterday, last night was just full of snow here. Just full, filled up, filled with snow everywhere. So I went for a walk, and I had my snow boots and everything all tanked up just with proper equipment. And I went for about, I don't know, 40, 50 or a minute, an hour into the snow and came back, and I was just about 10 meters away, and they were all safe. 10 meters away from my entrance to my building. Then I slipped. I didn't fall. I just went almost a split, martial arts split. My right foot went gently, but then continued, didn't stop. And so I said, holy macaroni, that's too much split for me. I'm not ready for that. So my muscles in the back, I think, were a little bit surprised. Say, well, that's too much stretch, buddy. Hold on. So Tai Hyung says, yes, I'm girl. So okay, then what's your question? You like boys and you like boys and you have crushes on them and you don't have false attraction on girls. So then all seems to be the way it is for you, and that's how you have been, and that's how you want to be, right? So what's the question? Oh, how do people have false attraction? Well, if you don't know, you don't have it, don't worry about it. Why do you need to constantly create new thoughts to go hunt for them? Don't worry about it. Lucky Dude says, male 17 from India says, now I have OCD about people beating me up randomly. Okay. This is truly annoying. Why I try to ignore it? Images randomly pop up. How do I solve this? Nothing. Just get beaten. It's images. Nothing happens. So allow them to beat the crap out of you. And just, like the, what was it? Kung Fu Hustle, the movie. You just go in there and say, please hit me more. Now I'm bleeding. That makes me the victor. So after a while, your brain says, this guy doesn't give a shit. So it stops making it. Um, what's the difference between false arousal and real arousal? Well, false arousal, real arousal, everybody knows it's purposeful and you want it to be there and for the appropriate thing in line with your values. So there's no question that that is the one that you want. So you have no question about it. The growing arousal, growing response. If I have a video that explains to you that human body basically responds sexually to anything sexually relevant, whether it's your own gender or not, doesn't matter. Even if it could be a horse's ass or horse's muscles, and you could have a arousal respond to it, but that doesn't mean you're homosexual. You could have a arousal respond to a doorknob that is shiny and represents certain kind of a luxury or whatever, or to a jewelry. You could have an arousal, but that doesn't mean you want to fuck the jewelry. You got to understand that these are based on anxiety and protection and things that you are concerned about, that you want to have certainty about, and that creates an anxiety. The anxiety itself could bring your attention to something that, oh, you shouldn't have an arousal. Then arousal comes in because you paid attention to it and it's ready to go. And that anxiety is the cause of this. So these are things that I've already explained there. Let me put the link of the Bruinal response. So you can, there it is. There it is. There is a video I made based on the writing of Ms. Kimberly Quinlan, who is a sex therapist, and I believe, and that video may be helpful to you to elaborate on what I just mentioned. A very quick response I had for you. And you guys know that I have a site which is named mindthatseekstruth.com. Mindthatseekstruth.com. And you can go on it and take a look at the table of content of the books that I've written. And at the same time, you can make an appointment on Skype, and we could, discuss, explore what's concerning you one-on-one on Skype. And H09 says, thanks. I'm currently going through HOCD, and your videos have helped me a lot. Best of luck to you. Thank you very much. My pleasure. And thank you for sharing that with us. Well, guys, it's 1 hour and 45 minutes. We'll be here another 15 minutes. If you have any questions, throw it out. Throw it in. And then I guess later on, I'll start doing something. I think cooking would be a good idea. It's 8 o'clock, so it's time to... All right, let me put this on for you for a second till I warm up my tea, and I'll be right back. Okay. All right. Where are we? I am here. Oops. Oh, I got to change that in order to have the right effect. Sorry about that. There we go. That's it. Now I can have the Maui in my cup. Maui in the cup. That's what it's called. Maui in the cup. And Mazakaral says, when is the next live stream, Mehran? I don't know. Probably tomorrow. Maybe around same time, 7:30 Vancouver time. I have no idea. I would have liked to have it every like midnight, but due to the fact that I have a neighbor that can hear my voice through the wall, and the walls are very thin here, I guess. So I try to, if I do it, maybe I'll change the location a little bit, but usually I try to do it maybe around latest by 9 to 11 would be good, 9 to 10 would be good. So it hits different time, but Europe would be sleeping. I would lose Europe, which right now I'm losing Europe as well too. But then Middle East and Australia and Japan and all that would be open. So we might do that. H says, by the way, why do some people chalk up HOCD to being false and just being in the closet or in denial or some bullshit like that? Because they're not knowledgeable. They don't know anything, or they have ulterior motive. Maybe themselves would like to have, to introduce it differently. But science of psychology, field of psychology, so much experiences and so much research through neuroscience and so on have proven beyond the shadow of the doubt that this is a glitch. And in the book of Dr. Schwartz, Brain Lock, explains clearly the role of caudate nucleus in basal ganglia in the striatum area, which is supposedly like a lever. When we explain it like a lever, it's about in an automatic car that's supposed to change gear at the right speed and down gear at the right speed to regulate the intrusive thoughts in a way. In other words, knowing according to your inclination and your stability of the brain and proper function of the neurotransmitters and all that, it would shut down what your intellect and your awareness knows is not in line with your values. So those comments and thoughts and so on comes to you and you say, oh, that's a nasty thought. And then caudate nucleus automatically shuts it down because of your knowing about your inner values and knowing about how it's supposed to function. It's for you, for your gender, and it does what it's supposed to do. But when it breaks down and it's not functioning as automatically as it should, then there is a glitch and there's a malfunction in the signaling system of the brain. Then you would have to help the brain to rewire itself through the way you understand these signals. And other explanation is that, you know, we all had stem brains when we were in a caveman time. We didn't have the brain that we have today, and everything was pretty much regulated by amygdala, responsible to save you from dangers. And even if you were in a jungle and the sound of a twitch of a leaves or branches would be there, you would jump. Amygdala would make you jump and run because it could be a dinosaur, it could be whatever kind of an animal, and it would help you to create that anxiety and fear and react to that fight and flight and get yourself to safety. Now, today, even though we have a new advanced type of brain, but it has its own problems, and the amygdala is still active and often overactive. And when it's overactive, the signals that it's sending, the danger signals, have no narrative, have no script. It just sends the danger signal, and the prefrontal cortex sees there's a danger signal coming, but there's no narrative, there's no scenario to it. So it says, what kind of scenario I can match up with this danger signal? Well, obviously, it's going to be something that is very important to this person. What's the most important thing? His identity, her identity, sexual orientation. That's going to match up with this level of anxiety and this level of danger signal that has been sent. So it creates something for that. And caudate nucleus is not there to shut it down. It's malfunction as well. So it's all pretty much fucked up. That's why then you would have to learn how to educate yourself and how to understand the function of amygdala and what's initiating all these danger signals and the role of what is not working to help it to rewire itself and get back to its balance and proper function as it was designed originally for you, for your inclination, for your gender. And then, so you're responsible to help the brain that is an organ, not that the brain is you. So whatever it says, you're supposed to now question, I'm changing this. And no, it's malfunctioning and you got to help it to get back to its natural order and natural balance. So the information is there. Whoever wants to find it will find it. Whoever has any other intention, well, then you'll just say whatever they want to say. Because even psychologists, and not necessarily all psychologists, are versed about OCD and HOCD. They have to be specialized in OCD and OCD subsets, such as many experts that I have put the link in the HOCD videos that I've made. Dr. Schwartz, Dr. Jan Rayner, Dr. Philipson. These are all brilliant and famous, well-known doctors and researchers. And, you know, you can always try to reach them. They're expensive, but they're worth every dime. So there we go. All right. Looks like we have no more questions. So it's time, I guess, for me to say I love you all. Thank you very much for being here, giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. I look forward to our next live stream. And in the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.